So welcome to the NAPI, or so the Node.js NAPI, not NAPI, the Node.js package maintenance team meeting for March 24th, 2020. We have a few less people here today because it is our earlier version, and the people on the West Coast at least have a little harder time making it. We'll start with our regular agenda. Does anybody have anything in terms of announcements that they'd like to share?
Well, I'd just say that the Express triage work is actually going very well, and quite a lot of people on the calls, and I'm getting more people to join in, and hopefully you're going to get more feedback, which is what I'm going to give today.
Okay. So you're getting So you want a section on the agenda to give feedback on the
I added some stuff down.
Okay.
Others.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering who put those in, so that's good. Where did I end up? Sorry, I'm just looking at what I did to the agenda. So I pasted in the stuff that was there, but the others, what did I do with it? Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. Hold on. Links, there we go. Right, yep, okay. Sounds good. Any other announcements or things people would like to share? I think I noticed that the NPM RFC meeting on being able to, which one was it? I think it was the one related to being able to stage, right? That's coming up?
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Tomorrow evening European time, so I guess afternoon.
Right, okay, so that's one interesting thing that's coming up. And, right. Sorry, I'm just gonna take the notes that Glenn said. Good. Okay, so if there's no other announcements, we'll move on to the things that were tagged for the agenda. The first one was governance models and methodologies for package maintainers. And actually, let me flip back to the GitHub issue because I took a few notes there by accident as opposed to the... Owen chimed in basically and said that he wasn't able to make it. He didn't have anything to update this week, but we'll hope to have something to have time to work on the next few weeks and give us an update next time. Update this time. Okay, so the next one, which is the PKGS org for supporting tooling. So that's now approved. Next step is to tweak governance, which I'll take a look at. Tomorrow, so I'll look at that today, tomorrow. And then once we have that landed, we can start, we can create the organization and move things over. So that's good. Next steps on support levels in package.json. I think the main thing there is, we're starting to work on the tooling to look at packages. I'm trying to think, let's open that up anyway. I think really our next thing is to find some time to work on the tooling to validate the schema and so forth. But I don't have anything to report on that unless anybody else has. That's done. So actually, I've got the current next actions there. Right, so basically, in terms of next steps, this one was basically the first one was to tweak to reference the funding proposal fields, which is done. And the next one is to update the validation tool. So yes, that is the next tool which we need to get started on. That one actually I guess we don't have everybody here, but there had been some work. So I think maybe I'll open an issue to discuss how we move forward on that, because some people had worked on it and figure out who wants to be involved, and don't want to, if people have already maybe even done some more work, want to make sure we take advantage of that first. Okay, anything else people want to talk about on that one? Okay. Update. Tool. Okay, so the next thing, right. So Glenn, you added these. I'll let you.
So there have been some issues raised before on finding dependents, and there've been there's actually one in there already. The only thing is, I thought it might be useful if we could get Darcy or Rui from the actual registry, perhaps do some one-off ones. And I'll give you a straightforward example. I'm looking at taking a deeper interest in the session module for Express, and there are many tools that use it. There are Redis, there's Mongo, many DBs, and they've basically put lots of things in the READMEs. And I need to know which ones are important for the future, so that when we actually make changes and we test them, which one should we look at? And
right.
Unless they're actually documented, and the thing is, we don't actually want to get into third-party documentation, because it's like advertising for a particular way of using like session and in general, we don't want to do that. What we want is a way of finding how many, who are the biggest users of a module, but we don't really want to scrape the registry. And it doesn't seem to be at all. It would be useful if we could set up an arrangement with the registry folks for specific questions, saying, could you give us the top 10 to use this? Because otherwise we will miss important things out. And I'm more interested about integration testing, which comes to the second one about the Citrum tool. How do we currently test Express session there? Because I know you do. Do we just use the default, or do we actually use a proper memory store?
Right.
It's
okay.
So specific.
I just wanted to flip back to the first one first. So you want to set up something with Darcy to talk about something better than the registry scraping.
So I believe there is a dependence list there, which means there's a dependence API endpoint somewhere. I know there didn't used to be one, then there was something mentioned somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure. If you can get the full list of dependents, there is an endpoint where you can get the download count for each of the dependents. It's a hassle, but it's doable. So I spoke, if you are on the Node.js Slack, there's a thread probably in package management, which is not very active. So it's probably the latest thread where basically they gave me a list of top 1000, which you cannot get without scraping the full registry and then querying the API endpoint one by one. But I think if you have a dependence list, which is not too large, it would be maybe possible. But also I do agree that maybe there's a way they can expose that information without having to go package by package.
Yes, right. That's the, I'd like, I'm just going back in.
I also wanted to mention, like, Ashley has been working on the tool that we talked about when we got together. I think he needs to open it, create a repo in PKGS for what he's doing. But I think since somebody posted in that there was a scraping module, he's been looking more at the higher layers, like how do we filter and figure out the ones you think are important.
Yeah, the other thing, we do need to talk to him. If we have a scraping mechanism and lots of people started using it, it may have side effects on the registry, and this may not be what they at all intended. They may have this information, and I'd be very surprised if they didn't, because you can click through it on the README pages. So it's there, but that's also not a good interface.
Yep. So yeah, I think that you're right. We should talk to them about improving that, because that seems to be from the people who've looked that they haven't found any APIs which would let you do that.
Yeah, for maintenance purposes, it will become important as more projects other than the Express initial one take off, because you'll want to know who really is using this module that's been ghosted or been whatnot, and we're taking over. That's important to the ecosystem.
The other option without scraping is SkimDB, which has a change feed of all the packages. The only problem is that you have to replicate that, and that's 40 gigs of data. Maybe there's some views that can be queried on there, but yeah, we should try to find a channel.
Even if we could just simply like give them, the package maintenance team could give them 5 modules every month, say, could you go and get me the stats? That's good enough. It doesn't have to be real time. This is not a real time request.
I'm not sure that's true. I mean, yeah, we want a tool which people can run and each of the maintainers can run to find their own list. So
I mean, as a starting point, yeah, it's maybe, you know, we can build up a case of a use case, and we can then design the tool itself and the APIs that are needed. So yeah,
well, the tool can just start with scraping, and I mean, if the use case needs to be demonstrated, then either they're not worried enough people will use it that'll be a problem. And if it becomes an issue, maybe that'll be a clear indication people are using it.
If we kill NPM again, as in the good old days, then maybe somebody will do something about it.
Well, I mean, anyway, I think, Glenn, I think your idea of setting up a meeting to discuss and get ahead of it makes total sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking through that. There was a meeting open, depend. And I added a comment to it, dependence tooling. Andrew Hughes 327, yeah, issue 327. And there was talk about a tool. I did look at this. It didn't seem to be quite, as you said, it would be good to have better. We're going to have to talk to them. Yeah, this does seem to be a recurring theme around maintenance, that we do need to know who is using what. So a lot of very well used things are not installed primarily, they are just dependent packages.
Okay, so do you want to take the action to set up something?
I will. I'll take an action. Okay. Yeah, I'll take one.
So yeah, if you can make sure to invite Ashley, because he is working on the tool. I'd be interested in whoever else is.
I just searched for has Ashley got a different handle on?
Sorry, I should have said Andrew.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's Andrew.
Okay,
yes.
Sorry about that.
It is Andrew. Yeah. Yeah. So
let me fix that. Glenn, are you able to open repos in the PKGS org?
No, never tried. let me go and look.
I think I can. Is there something you want to create it for?
Just, we'd like the work that Andrew's doing to be there versus somewhere else. He's been experimenting internally, but I think it'd be good that everybody has visibility into it. So
I probably cannot add people.
I think he needs to PR himself. There is a README for
but I can create a new repository if you give me a name. I have the button.
Okay, so I will coordinate with Andrew and we'll get the request over to you. Well, I guess we'll open an issue somewhere. Where would that issue be? I guess we'll open an issue in package maintenance. Is that, because that's kind of,
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Yep.
Yes, the more, even though I'm just putting my foot into the maintenance thing, the doing stuff, and the more I do, the more respect I have for people actually maintaining stuff.
I'm sure it's a lot of work. Okay, so on the tooling, have we covered what you wanted to cover there, or?
Sitgem, one other question. I wondered, wonder if Bethany could help on this. I might just reach out to her. I was wondering if she'd be on this call. When we test Express, we do test session, because I've looked back through issues and I've seen, was it Bridgewater raised them? Aaron Bridgewater for session. And I'm wondering, do we actually use a store, or do we just use like the memory store that's built in when you don't pass it something, a proper DB, when we do Canary in the Gold Mine integration tests? So
I don't believe there would be any external database or anything like that.
okay.
It basically like installs the modules and runs, and I
Yeah, uses
like
the default one.
99.9 sure we haven't set up anything else.
All right. In which case I don't need to ask that. I just wondered if we did, because I'm looking forward to the point where I actually do set up something, so we make a change, we can run it against the top 5 ones used, which is why I want to know what's used widely other than Redis and Mongo. After that, it gets a bit blurry, to be honest,
Right.
which is why I'm after the dependence question.
Now these are you're talking about testing, so like session uses Express or the other way around?
Express uses session, and
Right.
session is passed a different type of store, has an API for a store, and that can be almost any store. And once we get into the land of proper SQL DBs, I have no idea which one is most popular. I mean, I just choose my favorite, and that would be that, but I actually don't know. And the thing is, the also things, I'm not sure how many modules there are out there, and that's why this the tool will be useful.
That's actually an interesting point, in that that is neither a dependency nor a dependent, which is what we've been sort of talking about before. It's a third party, isn't it?
Yeah, so each third party provides another module which basically hooks into the Express session. You know, you pull in like a connect module, there's a connect Redis, but then I'm even that it's, and the mentioning of third parties, we're discussing that. They said perhaps we shouldn't have so many references to these third party modules, and that's part of this discussion too. I'm beginning to think that having a list, half the list have no downloads and some have a lot of downloads, and then some are just not there.
Right.
In that's the thing. Who else is using this? And that's why I'd like to talk to the registry people.
Okay, so those like the connect modules are modules which would depend on the Express module.
So yeah, they have a dependency on session, which is a Express module.
Okay. So yeah, I was just thinking, it was okay, understanding. So we do actually have a dependency relationship there after all.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I was going to move on to that next question about the Sitgem. To get an overview of the Sitgem, I can give you the high level one, and we can, Bethany's on holiday today. Next time we can get her to give us a more detailed one. But, you know, basically it has a pre-configured list of modules, and it, you know, pulls down those modules, installs them, and then runs their tests. And in the community, we do that on different versions of Node, with the goal being that, you know, we're making sure that changing out the Node version and the changes that were coming in, you know, in the new version don't break any of those module tests.
Okay.
Today,
I was just wondering if,
Go
It's
ahead.
just so it's just running tests. It's not actually a configuration using any sort of setup. It's just running the modules tests.
No, I mean, it's just exactly like there's too many of them for us to set up each individual.
Yeah.
We did have in thought at one point, like if you look at your sort of safety net layers, it's sort of one of the layers, right? We did think about, never got to a layer which would have been, okay, now we could actually set up some, higher level, say more like system type tests. If there were some that were like, so prevalent in the ecosystem that they would also then give us coverage. And at that level, we might do something like that, but you're only going to have a small number of them if we ever got to that at all.
Yeah. I think we're probably best as it is. I just wondered, I'm probably going to start because that would also be a useful tool for me to use as well. I'm starting to look into how, and it's a good case example. Express is a very good case of widely used, lots of third party, there's just so many aspects to it. And a lot of the code, when you look at it, you go, yep, that's very early JavaScript.
Right.
And you have to remember how to write it.
Okay, so it was written once, it's worked, it hasn't really needed any changes.
Written once,
right?
worked forever.
Right. And you really, if you change it, is it actually going to help or hurt? So,
Yeah.
okay. But we could, I mean, just so is that what you were looking for, or
Yeah,
do you want,
I
like,
think that's got the
demo?
yeah.
Okay.
No, that's good enough. That's good enough. I'm gonna pull it and use it as is. I just wondered if there was any more to it. That was as I read it. I went away and read. I've had to do a lot of reading recently. Even Chrome released a new version of Chrome 80, and they changed the way the same site cookie was defaulted, and that caused a lot of problems in session for some poor chaps.
And was that like a functional change they made, or a misinterpretation of the spec, or what?
Spec actually changed, and Google implemented the new spec, and it went from essentially treating, if you did not have same site cookie set, to treating it as set. It used to be set as none if it wasn't there. Now they're treating it as lax, which is a bit more secure.
Okay.
And that broke existing sessions for some people, even though when they set it explicitly to none, people with existing sessions got broken because then their cookies were not being treated the same way as the server was. And there's nothing we could do about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the Express triage side that you think is interesting?
It's going well. There's another meeting tomorrow.
Another TSC meeting?
Yes,
Express
I
TSC?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there was some discussions on like captains and stuff like that. Is that?
So we had a long discussion. So I asked a question, what's expected from the captain. So I'm sort of like a provisional captain of the session module. And, I'm very glad I did not volunteer for more than one thing. Now that I understand a little bit more about everything that's involved and how many people hit it up and raise issues. So that seems to be going through, that we seem to have a methodology in place to get people to adopt it. It is just a case of working through, and we had a meeting last week, and we're going to continue. There were about 9 people on the meeting last week, I think, or then more. And we'll see tomorrow.
Okay.
It is a slow case. Like, I have to learn a whole module from way back that's working, as you said, and if I touch it, I own it.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. So I guess thank you. You're still working through the process of, like, say, becoming a committer in that module.
Yep. Okay. Exactly.
Okay. It sounds in the right direction anyway. So, anything else we'd like to talk about this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to the top, issue 321, the shared CI config repos.
Sorry, let me find that. That's in the 321 issues. Sorry, it's in the, I'm in the wrong repo. Sorry. Dope.
Okay, yeah, this is the one with LJ.
Okay, I will add that onto the agenda. So, okay, so take it away.
Yeah, I removed the package maintenance label, the agenda label, with the hopes that it moves forward on the admin side.
Right, so that one is just, we're waiting for the paste without formatting. Come on. Okay, so this one, yeah, we were waiting for a repo. Let me take a look at what's in that one. Okay, I will try and add. No. I'll ping the TSC. I'm going to tag it for the agenda if it doesn't, because nobody's objected, but and I'd have to look at our governance. That might mean it's actually approved, but I would like to have a few people at least acknowledge they've seen it. Okay. Reping. Okay, any other things then? Okay,
All
well,
right.
if that's it,
Thank you,
we'll talk
gentlemen.
to everyone. Andrew for a second, see if he had anything. Want to add before we finish up?
I saw you you spoke about the dependence tooling.
Yep, where you're at with that?
Yeah, we really need this.
Yeah, grabs all the dependents and filters them by either npm hub watchers or GitHub forks. So that's like so looking from there to move on to start trying to pull more information about each dependent, such as last CI runs. Because I think the idea we came up with was like a reverse greenkeeper style of system where you would create a PR with your new version updating the dependents package JSON of the version fields, so it will run on their CI to run the tests, and then you could see if it was failing with your new version or if it's passing with your new version.
Yeah, so understanding whether the CI is green or not is good for sure.
Do you have a repo for this? Does it partially work? Could I get useful stuff from it even as it is?
Yeah, at the moment it's just grabbing dependents and filtering them. I'll post the repo up later. I just need to push it out.
Okay. You're going to put it in, was it dependents 327?
Yeah, I'll put a link into the issue.
Okay.
All right.
And then we'll work at the same time to get a repo in the PKGS, or actually maybe move your repo over to there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can post the link, and then actually we should open an issue that says transfer your repo into the PKGS org.
Okay, yeah, great.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it for me. Oh, the PKG.js status board. I've got a PR open over there to change that to use GitHub GraphQL queries. I wondered if anyone could take a look at that. It's been sat over there for a bit, not gathering dust pretty much. I know people are busy with the Express 5 release at the moment, so I'm guessing Wes and John probably haven't got around to taking a look, but if anyone else wants to take a look.
Right. I guess who is it that we're probably going to need Wes to take a look before it lands?
Yeah.
PR print update says in order to address the performance issues, right?
Yep. Sounds good.
I am getting more people to join the Express triage team. I might suggest they come and join us because, like others, I'm very careful what I volunteer for now, since I'm already doing quite a lot.
Okay. That's good. So like how many other people have you got to start with on the Express triage side of things?
We have two. One is already active, and another one is just joining now, has raised a PR. And I probably think they could both go in it. And it's as I go along and get people's interest where I work, I say, this is something you can do. You don't need to be creating new stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that just needs a lot of help.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, no, it'd be nice to meet them too. So, okay, yeah. So, okay, maybe it's worth Andrew pinging Wes in the issue again. Do we give him an app mention or something like that in the PR?
I'll bring it up tomorrow in the meeting, the Express
Okay.
meeting.
Thanks. That's good.
So
Okay,
is it
sounds
graph? Yeah, graph. Just have a look. So what note did you take down, just so I get the right words?
Here, actually, let me get the PR number 2, right?
Yeah.
So this is under the PKGS. I think. So this would be under.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, switching. Wasn't it from graph back to API, or from API to graph? I can't remember which way around it was. It was more performant.
From REST to graph.
Yeah, from REST to graph.
Here, it's pull request number 10.
There we go. Yeah, I'll bring that up tomorrow with him.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other things? Okay, if not, thanks for everybody participating, and we'll see everybody next time.
Cheers, all. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.